Good afternoon, everybody. Great to be with you today. Sorry to confuse everyone with the supposed change of time. I just realised that. Hello, Mia. Welcome, Mia, to the stream. I just realised that in some areas, summertime started, whereas it hasn't for us yet in the UK. I think we're not till the end of the month, so that means that you're an hour ahead of us. So it feels like I'm a little bit earlier in some places. Also, I started the stream half an hour later today, and that is just because finally the weather's good here. So we got out and trained the dogs, because for those of you that don't know, my day job, my other job is I'm a dog trainer. We do dog agility. So I've had the dogs out. So I'm filthy and exhausted, but the dogs are happy. Okay, can the people who are in the stream, can you let me know if everything's working okay? Because I'm hearing it's telling me that there's something wrong with the receiving the data. So if you can just let me know if this is coming through okay for you all. I'm still a complete novice at this. And I'll start off as all the experts in these things tell you that you completely shouldn't do this, but I'm going to start off with an apology. So today we had planned, it's our first, well, it's the second Sunday in the month, so I was going to do a shop review for a shop today, but I was so badly prepared that the shop I picked, they're actually on holiday just now. The shop's in vacation mode, so it wouldn't be a good idea to do the review while they're in vacation mode. So we'll get to that when they come back online. So we won't be talking about that today. Shane Grain, everything's okay. Thank you so much for letting me know. As I say, still a novice at this, and the stream's telling me they're not receiving data at a fast enough rate. I have no idea what that means, so I'll just stop looking at that page. Right, and hi there, Mary. Everything's working okay. Fantastic. Let's say I'll stop looking at that page because it's just worrying me. It tells me things aren't working when they seem to be working. Okay, so the shop I was going to look at today, clearly not open, so not a great thing to look at that. So we're just going to bumble on. I'm not quite as prepared as I would like to be, but we've still got a few things to chat about. And if you guys have any questions, just dive in with them. Glass Eyes Online. Hi there. Good to see you. For anyone who hasn't checked them out, I've been using Glass Eyes Online eyes. That's a mouthful. I've been using these guys' eyes for absolutely years for my dog sculptures. I did a review of them last year sometime. I really love their glass eyes. They're on a nice long wire, great quality, such a range of colours. And they don't just do eyes, there's noses, different types, loads of stuff, but check them out. If you click on their shop there, you should, if you click on their channel, you should be able to get to the channel, and I'm sure you guys will have all your details there. But good to have you there. And Nails by Sharon, hi there. Thank you so much for joining me. So quickly, before we get started, I've got two bits of good news. One I should have said last week, but I totally forgot, but I've remembered just now. We have two shops have made their first sale in the past couple of weeks, which is awesome, the best feeling in the world. Wendy Taylor from Pam's Felting Friends, she just announced yesterday, I believe, that she just got in her very first sale in her shop, which is fantastic. I remember my first sale. All them years ago. It does. Okay, some people open their shop and they get a sale immediately. They get a sale that's not their mum immediately. But for most of us, it does take a bit of time. I think I was maybe. I should have checked this beforehand. I think I was maybe about 4 or 5 months before I got my very first sale, and even that I was panicking a bit, and I did a cut price, a slashed sale. but it took a good few months, and I was really worried about that. And the same for my mum and a few of my friends. It's taken up to about 6 months to get that very first sale. It's like all the work you're doing in the beginning, as I always say, it's like pushing the snowball up the hill. You're building up, you're getting started. Hi, Mia. You're getting started, you're putting the work in, and then finally you get to that tipping point and things start to work. But don't panic if it takes a wee while to get the first sale. But Wendy Taylor, great job on the first sale, and my mum's second shop, we got our first sale. If you guys all hopefully remember, we started at the beginning of the year. Well, over the Christmas and New Year period, me and Mum sat down and decided to have a go at opening this second shop. So we did some stuff, but sadly my mum's been a bit unwell since I came back home, so she hasn't been able to do quite the work on it that we'd hoped. But she got her first sale, which is fantastic, way better than we expected, because cards and arts, paper arts, it's quite a difficult market to get into in the first place. So super chuffed with her there. So 2 shops with her first sale, so happy with that. Oh, Sharon, how do you know what size eyes to get? That is a really good question. I'm trying to see what dogs I've got sitting about here. Trying to see how well these all show up. Little dog that I've got here, this is a 3 to 4 inch dog, and depending on the breed, but I tend to go with for a 3 to 4 inch dog of a toy size, I'll go to 3 to 4 millimeters, up to something perhaps like a Chihuahua, or any of the real toy breeds. Excuse me, I'd maybe be up to about a 4 millimeter eye. I bet I don't actually have any of the eyes near me just now, which is typical, but 4 to 5 millimeters is about as big as I want to go for the small size of dog. I think the largest size I use in general is up to about a 6 millimeters on some of my larger sculptures, but buy yourself a wee bit of buy a range, and then you'll see. But I'd say 2 millimeters is really quite tiny. 3, 4, 5 millimeters is a good range of eyes to have. Creative living, how about doing another shop? Yep, absolutely. I had thought about doing that, but unfortunately it takes a wee bit of time for me to get everything together to actually do a decent review. So I'd thought about doing that, but I decided just to skip it for today, because I'd been that busy setting up everything else. To do a decent review of a shop takes me about 2 to 3 hours, pulling together all the data and stuff to give them a proper sort of crack at getting a decent amount of help in there. But yes, you're right, I totally could have done, but not today. I'll get a review up by next week. But yeah, it just takes quite a bit. Takes quite a bit to get it all done. But anyway, right, so where was I? Yeah, so what I want to talk about is something that's been popping up on YouTube just now, but is so relevant to us on Etsy as well. So my friend Brian Johnson, who's the YouTube expert, himself and a lot of people have been mentioning now, been talking about click-through rate, because there's been such an exciting announcement on YouTube. This is something I've forever been saying, I wish they'd do this, I wish they'd do this. But YouTube's going to start giving us the click-through rate analytics. And this is something that we actually get on Etsy. So I thought this was a great time to mention it, because it's something that a lot of people don't use enough, don't look at enough. So I'll explain what it is. Now, first of all, you'll want to get over when you're finished here, but get over and have a watch at Brian. Firstly, he's a good friend, he's a decent person, and he talks a lot of sense, but a lot of his stuff, it's about growing on YouTube, but it's kind of working relevant for us on our shops and anywhere else. I take a lot of the stuff I learn on growing on YouTube and move it into my shop, how to grow my shop, and I take lots of stuff that I've learned on growing my shop and move it into growing on YouTube. So they all kind of work. But it was quite funny that Brian had actually just released this video talking about click-through rate, and then YouTube announced that they were going to be giving us the stats on it. But the reason why I'm showing you this as well, he's talking about, let's see if I can find the right bit. Oh yeah, here we go. He's talking about what the click-through rate is. I should explain this first of all. Your click-through rate is for when anyone searches or looking on Etsy or looking on YouTube, as you can hopefully see on the page where I am just now. There's a number of impressions. There's videos showing down the side. So these are impressions, YouTube saying, we've shown people these. And the click-through rate is the number of times that people, when they're shown a video, how often they'll click on it. So it's exactly the same in your Etsy shops. When you're on Etsy itself, when you search for something, let's be really lazy and say dog because it's Crufts this weekend. When you search for something, so all of these things count as an impression. They've all been served up to me. And if every time this page is served up, this card gets, out of every 100 times this page is served up, this card gets clicked on 50 times and this card gets clicked on 5 times, then the first one's click-through rate is so much better. So this is a really cool, important thing. So what Brian was talking about here is the ways to increase your click-through rate by having good thumbnails. So I'm showing this up here because he kindly actually used my thumbnails as an example of certain ways to draw the eye to different things. This is my thumbnails for my YouTube channel, but you can see he was talking about how if you have certain things in focus, that draws the eye to them. If you have certain bright colors, that draws the eye. So if you have a check at this, check out this video. A lot of it's so relevant because when you search for something on Etsy, what you're going to click on is what catches your eye. So you've got to look at and think, why is something catching your eye? How are we standing out? So he's got so much good advice on how to draw the eye. And just having a quick look at this page that's come up here. So this page for dog. So if you can just all quickly type in the comments in the chat, if you're on the chat, can you just quickly type which item on this screen just now has caught your eye? Is there any of them that, don't even think about what you would want to buy or whatever else, but is there anything that's drawn your eye to it? If you let me know in the chat, and we'll see if there's anything that any of us are seeing and there's any kind of theme. Because this is the thing, you might have the best pictures in the world, but if you don't draw people's eyes, then you can't sell. You know, if everybody's item looks exactly the same, then you're not going to stand out. And this works for anything online at all. We're such a visual world. I mean, Pinterest is some of the biggest traffic for sort of everything. I get lots of traffic on my YouTube channel come from Pinterest. I get lots of traffic on my Etsy come from Pinterest, and that's people pin the pictures that look pretty to them. So Sharon's saying the blue bottle and dog picture. Yeah, so this is one of the things that Brian comments on, is a wee pop of colour that stands out for different different reasons. You know, a wee pop of colour that's different will catch your eye, and then if it's cute, obviously that'll help you. Mary is saying the one with the cute white and brown dog. Absolutely. This is, although it's animals, but this is a face. Our eyes are drawn to faces, so if you can throw in some kind of a face, eyes looking at you, this will draw the eye, and it's dogs. Dr. Sten, hi there, how you doing? The Dog Letting Go of a Heart book. The Dog Letting Go of a Heart. Oh, yes. The Dog Letting Go of a Heart and the book with a blue stripe. Yeah. This one's actually what's been catching my eye, just because it's the pop of green. Again, this is a bright saturated colour which catches your eye, and it's a bit cheeky when you see it. And again, the book with a blue stripe, this is a pop of colour that's catching our eye. This was just a random search. I didn't plan this out very well, so this isn't necessarily all the best example, but you can see that your eye is going to be drawn to certain things. And Glass Eyes Online, the card with the puppy and the heart Mother's Day card and the puppy dog both on the right hand side. Yep, there's certain things that pop out. For example, the Mother's Day card, again, that's pink. That's popping out because it's a different colour. So very much, if you're looking to stand out in with your listings, have a search for what everybody else is doing and see what you can do that's going to be different. I mean, things like these dog tags, it's an absolutely beautiful clear photograph, it's a lovely image, everything's readable, but it just doesn't pop out. It doesn't really catch the eye a whole lot. Sorry for whoever did that. It's beautiful photography, but it's not eye-catching. And again, like this Mother's Day card, it's not going to catch the eye because, I mean, I'm sitting with this on my big computer screen and I can barely read that. So these things aren't going to catch the eye. Magdalena, hi there. How are you doing? Good to see you here. So, yeah, I'll put up the link to Brian's video. So when you're done here, don't forget to pop along there. He's got lots of good advice on the science of how all this works. Like I say, faces, eye contact, pops of bright saturated colour, all these things just help us, because when you search for something, sorry if fast scrolling makes you feel sick, but when you search for something, you're going to search and then you're going to scroll down and just go do 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 and stop when something pops out. And the reasons it pop out might be for different reasons. This should have been, this dog bowl one should have been a perfect listing because it's such a cute dog with a little sad expression on his face. But the problem that they've got here is a lack of contrast in the brown dog against the brown floor, so I almost missed him. So really, it's a great way to totally stand out from the crowd, and it's something I'm going to be thinking on some more over this year, and something I think we should all be looking at and thinking about. But yeah, it's a fun search anyway. I like searching for dog. I'll do that more often. But I said, Etsy actually gives us these statistics that YouTube are just about to bring out. So I know a few of you are YouTube people as well. So these statistics are going to be awesome for us on YouTube. But on Etsy we have them, and we can get them if you pay for promoted listings. And if you haven't already seen, I've covered videos about promoted listings in the past. Excuse me one moment. For utterly years, I avoided using promoted listings. I didn't want to have to pay to be seen. And then I thought it would be really expensive. I worried that I would be spending a fortune and make millions of sales, but it doesn't quite work like that. And if you don't already know, your promoted listings, they're the ones that come up. You see these come at the very top of the search, and they come up with the word ad on them. So you've got sort of halfway down at the very top of the search, and then halfway down we have a row of adverts. So it's a good way to get onto the front page if you can't get on with decent SEO, and it's actually really affordable. I've talked about this in videos before. But the real reason to use this, the game changer, is that this is absolutely fantastic for the statistics it gives you. So if I pop into my marketing and promoted listings, and again, just quickly, you can see this is from the last month. It's costing me $30 and I've made $170. So unfortunately it always gives you this in dollars, but yeah, that's fine. And I've set my budget to $2 a day. Again, before you get started on this, don't just switch it on. Check out my video first of all, and I'll explain how you want to change your cost per click so it doesn't cost you a fortune and you get seen loads. But the statistics you get are fantastic. So what we have here, imp is impressions, and this is the number of times that that advert is shown on a page to somebody. So for whatever term they're searching for, say they'd said dog, this is the number of times my advert comes up at that top of the page. It's the number of times it's seen on the screen. And then you get told the number of times, the number of clicks you get for that number of impressions. So you can get your click-through rate, the number of times people click. If you just divide the one number by the other, then you can get an idea of when these pictures are seen, how often are they likely to be clicked on. So it's been seen 900 times and clicked about 9 times. So that's not a bad odds, really. And this is actually something I'd been working on just as a little bit of fun. That picture will come out really, really small, but rather than just having the picture of my dog, I'd tried putting text onto the actual picture to see if that made things pop and stand out. And so I'm going to go through the statistics and find out if that click-through rate is any higher or lower, you know, find out what it is people are clicking on. But you just, if you click on the impressions, it will bring up the ones that have been seen the most, the items that have had the most number of impressions, or if you click on clicks, it lists them by the numbers that have been clicked the most. Thankfully in this case the one with the highest impressions also has the highest number of clicks, but it's good to know this is telling you that this is a picture that when it's being seen on the front page is getting clicked on a fair amount. So these numbers are so important for telling you, are your pictures good enough? Are they holding up amongst all the competition? So if you haven't already and you're looking to boost your shop a little bit, and obviously I'm not sponsored for any of this, but I would advise sticking on promoted listings. Even if you put the tiniest budget you can, it gives you some fantastic extra data. And the other things you've got here is it actually tells you the searched terms. I've got some videos coming up talking about how it's not just what your tags and titles are, but Etsy can put you forward in other places, and once it understands what your item's about. So these search terms, there's 100 on this item, there's 123 different terms people have searched for that Etsy's decided to show my item up against. So this has given me extra data. I obviously don't have 123 different tags, so this can give me an idea of what's good search terms that I could use. When you click on this, it brings up the search terms, and so this data is fantastic. Like, you don't get it in so many places. We're actually really lucky. So it tells you what the actual buyer was searching for when they decided to show your item, why they decided to show your item in this. So I mean, as you can see, for needle felted dog, I have this in the title and the tag, so that makes sense why Etsy's showing that when people are searching for that. But there's other times when I bet you it won't show it here. Yeah, so for some reason they showed it. They decided when someone searched for needle felted pink flamingo, they decided to show my dog. And it obviously didn't get any clicks, but they experiment, they test different things out. So they'll experiment when people search for a term, they'll experiment showing your listing, and if it does well, then it's going to keep showing your listing. So sometimes they will show some really random things, but other times they might show things that you hadn't thought of, and if they're doing well, then that gives you an idea of extra tags to use. The other bit of data it gives here is the performance, which is fantastic. It's telling us it's for needle felted dog, it's shown, we've had 100 impressions, it's been shown to 100 people on that page, and it's got a high click-through rate. So you know that these terms, when your item is seen with that term, it gets a high click-through rate. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice today. So that, I just wanted to share just everything that people are talking about with YouTube bringing out this click-through rate. I'm going to finally give us this data. I just wanted to remind you and share with you guys how we actually already have this data on Etsy, and it is so powerful. It gives you ideas of, is this a tag that it's really actually worth optimizing for? Is it worth pushing for this tag? Because there's going to be some of these that don't have a high click-through rate. So for my picture of a Havanese dog, it obviously makes sense. When someone was searching for a needle felted Great Dane, they didn't really want to click on my picture of a Havanese dog. That completely makes sense. Dog sculpture felt, again, doesn't have a high click-through rate. It's not something I've tried to optimize for, and it's not something I'll bother optimizing for. So I hope that helped you guys get a quick idea. I'll do a more in-depth video explaining this properly later, but I hope this helped you give an idea of how you can use these promoted listings to get data that is, it's worth the money. It's worth the money anyway. I'm not even paying $2 a day and I get all this data. But for us YouTube people as well, we're going to get some of this data in the coming weeks and months, hopefully really soon. Such important data. Alright, what else were we going to talk about? I think, oh, nearly forgot there, yes. I just wanted to share another thing, a project that I've got coming up soon, because I know quite a few of you have been randomly, it's been popular to be needle felting giraffes lately, and I did make a giraffe a while ago. He was actually great fun to make. I think he is, yes. 2 ticks, I'm so well prepared, but he's just over in the corner, so I'll fetch him. So a few years ago I made this little guy. Trying to get him in screen. A few years ago I made this little guy, and oh, Creative Living, what am I paying £2, well actually $2 a month for, is the promoted listings on Etsy. Well, it's not even $2. How much is it working out at? My limit is $2 a day, but so far I'm paying about I'm paying about a pound a day. Yeah, $2 a month. I'm paying about $1 a day for promoted listings. So I was just saying that I find it really worth it. Oh, excuse me, my dog's got a plastic bottle to play with. Good girl. So just saying that's really worth it for all the data that you get. If you haven't already, give it a shot, and it gives you your click-through rate and gives you ideas of search terms. Yeah, so this little giraffe guy, and I just want to say how impressed I am with all of you that have been making giraffes and actually have managed to make them stand up. I struggled. I couldn't get this guy to stand up, I have to be honest, and I ended up making him reclining, and I'm really chuffed how he turned out. But I made him a bit more of a baby giraffe with a bit of a shorter neck. So totally impressed with how all of you did. But that was a few years ago, and I've got a bit of a challenge just came through that I'm looking forward to making, because just throwing a Pringles lid at the dog to play with because it makes less noise than the bottle. I just got a customer request something, and it's so funny because all of you have been making giraffes, and then she requested if I could make a giraffe from the World of Warcraft, and I didn't know what these were like at all. So I had a Google, and I found that these little guys are the giraffes in World of Warcraft. So I've been asked to make one of these. I am really looking forward to having a go at it. It's going to be a challenge to try and get it to stand up right, but it looks like it's a giraffe with a mane at the front and the back and some excellent looking horns. So this is going to be my next big project, and hopefully I'm going to try and film it along the way and see how I get along. But any tips or advice on making a giraffe as well, totally look forward to hearing that. But yeah, so this is my next big project to make. Create, yes, with the promoted listings, the longer you stick with it, it helps build stuff. It's really good, because this is just my opinion here, but basically because it's given Etsy all these opportunities to serve you up on the front page, it gets the chance to see if you're worthy, you know, to see if it's worth it to spend the money on, or not spend the money, but to see if it's worth it. I have to take a bottle off a small crazy dog. She was chewing on a juice bottle. It's her favourite toy, but it's very noisy. So basically it's letting Etsy try out your item with different search terms, and then if you do well with them, then it's realizing that you could be good for the front page anyway. It might be worth their money. So I have found that some things do better. You know, I was having trouble getting them to rank. With promoted listings, Etsy puts them on the front page. They do well on that promoted listing, and then they get to the front page in their own right from that. So it does build up. Glass Eyes Online, can you use a wire armature for legs? Absolutely. I have a couple of videos on wire armatures, and this giraffe will completely have an armature, I think. Yes, this guy that I have here, he does actually have a wire armature, although I felted him more solidly into place just to have him in the position. Yeah, I would say with the larger sculptures it's much better to use an armature to give you a chance. I just found him pretty tricky to balance. Horses have a difficult enough anatomy for being tiny wee legs on big bodies, but I found giraffes a lot worse. Just trying to get that balance right, and that's why, as I say, this guy had I gave him a shorter neck as it was. I cheated and made him a bit of a baby, but it was my first try. But yes, he does have wire in the legs, which makes it a whole lot easier, but just getting him to balance and not look a bit crazy was tough. But yes, the full-on World of Warcraft giraffe is going to be fully wired. I would love. I'm not gonna have time, and it's not what the customer wanted. But I love these battle outfits I've seen for this. I have to remember and share my screen. There we go. I love the saddles and all that. That would be so cool to make, but that's out of my ability. But that just looked like a whole load of fun. Right, guys, I think that is about all that I had for you today. Really really sorry, not quite so organised today. I need to check with people that their shops are open before I get into all of that. But I'll hopefully next week we should have another Facebook art page review, and hopefully whatever announcements and new things Etsy has for us. Yeah, I've got going to be working on the maker's box a little bit more. For those of you that haven't seen that, last week I made the butterfly, which was so much fun to make. That's my first time using the water soluble paper, so if you haven't seen that, get looking for the butterfly. How do I find it? Oh, there was Cassandra's. If those of you who haven't seen it, myself and Cassandra finished our project together, where I worked on the tutorial for her of making her little dog Tycho, and she followed along my tutorial. So if those of you haven't seen that, there's her final video. And oh, my computer's going slow just now. And it works so much better if I click on the thing that I mean to. And here we go. If you haven't checked it out already, here is the video where I made the butterfly, and it turned out so well. I was super happy with that, and I've got some more plans for some more stuff from the maker's kit. Sharon, do we change your clocks? Or is it just us in the US? No, in the UK we do change our clocks as well. I believe it's at the end of this month. I'm not entirely sure. It's sometime coming up soon. I should check. Yeah, we spring forwards. So we'll go forwards an hour in a little while. It really makes no sense why we do it, to be honest. I thought forever we put the clocks back for the winter because the shorter nights, the nights drawing in and everything. But actually just now, the winter time is Greenwich Mean Time. This is the proper time, and it's summertime that we move the clocks when, in some areas of Scotland, it's not even getting dark till about 11 o'clock at night, so we don't really need to move the clocks in the summer. So I have no idea why we do it, but we do it. So yeah, keep an eye out. Obviously, when our clocks change, then as we'll move the time, then it will mean that I'll be back to going live about the usual time for you guys, because yeah, in America you guys changed your clocks last night, but we don't in the UK. We haven't done it yet, so we're out by about an hour of what we usually are. The last Sunday of March and October in Europe. Thanks, Mary. I thought it was the end of the month. That makes a lot more sense. Yep. And other Mary, my mum, clocks change worldwide. They do change, but they change at different times. Well, as you know yourself, I have a sister in New Zealand, and their clocks change as well, but they change at slightly different times as well. And obviously, they're on the other side of the world, so they're going into their winter, so their clocks are falling backwards. Yeah, Sharon came on early today. She was looking for me at 3 o'clock our time, and because you guys had changed. So be a couple of weeks and then we'll change. What to do if you're following us on YouTube, in your subscriber box, it should show up here. If you're subscribed to me, which I would love it if you are, when you go into your subscriptions here, then I think there's a few people, yeah. So like this guy, Alan Spicer, who I'm following, he has set up a live stream. Like I did this just a few hours before I go live. So it sets it up and it tells you in your time what time they're planning to start the live stream at. So that's the easiest way, rather than me telling you I'm going live at this time. If you're subscribed to me, if you check in your subscriptions, it should come up and tell you in your time what time my live's due to be starting. I mean, it won't start exactly at that moment because I've got to physically do it, and there's a few extra clicks to get started, but it just gives you an idea of when to look for me. Right, but I think that's covered pretty much everything, unless anyone has any questions or want to know about anything. But yeah, just a short one today. Again, apologies for about the fourth time for not being totally prepared, but I just wanted to get on and share with you something, even though I messed up on doing the shop review. Dr. Sten got the alert. That's cool. I'm glad it's working. I've been trying to find ways, because YouTube is really quite bad at letting people know when things are happening. So I was trying different ways of doing the live stream. Those of you who are with me from the start will have seen that I used to start the stream like 15 minutes early with an empty placeholder saying we're starting soon. But that's really boring if you click onto that and it's nothing happening. So I've been trying to do this, setting the stream up in advance and saying it's going to happen at this time, and it seems to work a little bit better. You guys have been able to find me some more, which is cool. And here's Creator Fundamentals. Dan, good to see you here. Yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out Dan as well, he's another YouTube guru, another person helping us grow our YouTube. But like I say, it all relates to each other. Like, my shop has been growing so much faster since I've been studying more about YouTube growth, and my YouTube growth has been so much better because I understand about the Etsy SEO. So yeah, that's cool. Some people are getting the alert, so this is working. It's all just trying to figure out how to do this right. Like I say, I'm a total noob at all of this. We're all learning. Well, I think we're all kind of new at the live streaming thing. And yeah, Sharon, I think we were talking about you maybe doing a live stream at some point. Have you thought about that? Because I would love to see a live nail art. That would be so much fun. Oh, it was Cassandra. Yeah. Cassandra did go live. I don't think she's on today, but Cassandra Hall actually has done a couple of live streams. So if you want to jump in and check her when she goes live, again, subscribe to her. But anyway, guys, I think I've said goodbye about 4 times now. So sorry to love you and leave you, Dan. Guys, thank you so much for joining. It's been fun as usual. I will be better prepared next week. But thank you so much, and I'll catch you next time.